Good morning, stamping friends. This is Becky Hahn at Becky's Stamping Studio in Davenport, Iowa. I've just celebrated my 24th anniversary with Stampin' Up! Last Saturday, July 3rd. So it's been a wonderful ride, but I wanted to jump on today. We did a card at Club that's called Give It a Whirl. And I call it like a Viewmaster from years ago. I've done these many times over the years, but let me tell you, this is definitely the easiest set of dies to do this with. And it's also one that's probably overlooked in the catalog because it's kind of a standalone die. And we have several of those this year in the annual catalog. I am still fussing with my camera depth and that kind of thing, so bear with me, please. So today I'm going to do a real quick overview of how I did this. Sarah, our leader right now, Shirley's daughter, showed how to do this on her blog. I looked at a lot of different ways to do this before I settled on this one because this die set does not come with instructions, but it is very easy to do. So we're going to start. My first one that we did, and this is probably the most traditional, is using the Turtle Friends stamp set, which looks like this. This can come as a bundle with this stamp set and a cute little punch. Okay, right now the punch is on back order, but it is at least orderable. Okay, so we're going to do this one. The back of the base is Mango Melody. I pulled my colors from this cool stripe. This is from the Pattern Party designer paper that is a host option if you reach an order of $150 or more. This background paper in Granny Apple Green is also from that pack. So let me show you a little bit about the dies and how easily this really does go together. Okay, and it's kind of best to work on this with a theme of some kind. So that's why I had seen some. So this is a little bit of a variation of one that I had seen. The details, directions, measurements are all over on my blog, which is Becky's Stampin' Studio at blogspot.com. So here is our base, which is just a regular half sheet of cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5. Then you'll need a piece of designer series paper. If you'd like, you could run a piece of cardstock through an embossing folder. It starts out looking like this. Okay, just I start with a quarter sheet, and then you take the die, the base die, which looks like this, and you run that through your piece. Okay, and it puts a little hole in here because you're going to need those brads. I'm sure some of you stocked up on those years ago, but you also need to figure out what kind of opening you want. And this set is so cool because it does give you several options. You can make, like I have done here, the circle, okay? And what is so unique about our dies is there's a little dot right here. This is actually raised. And so when you get ready to cut your image, you can hook this little circle into that hole, turn it over, and voila, you can cut your quarter sheet into this piece I have. If you wanted to turn it a little sideways, you can do that. If you wanted to do it at the bottom, you can do that. Or you can even cut it out first and then line it up. Give us some background here. And put it any angle you'd like. And there's nothing that says this little opening has to be to the side. I've just recently seen some where they've put it at the bottom. So that might, some creative variations there. So it is so neat because you're going to need this hole anyway to put your wheel mechanism back behind. Then there are 3 other options. Don't lose these little pieces. You can cut a word window or something that goes lengthwise. You can use a combination of words and images. So that's one. Here's one. Most of the time they cut it so I call this the fan window, but it could go over here. Again, I cut this one after I had cut the base out. Another option is a heart. Now that one doesn't work too well upside down, but I have seen where they have put one here, and one here, made it look like a 4-leaf clover. So as you peruse Pinterest or wherever you like to go, so you'll need your base. You'll need your top layer. And the next big thing that you need, and this would be for any kind of card you make with this Give It A Whirl, is the wheel. And this is the cut side. It has a nice little scallop to it, so you can see where to grab it over here. It has your, it cuts a hole in the middle, so you can put your brad through, and it's already divided up into 3 sections. So when you plan your card, you need to come up with 3 items to put in those little spots. It does lightly emboss it. Some machines are tighter than others. Mine gets used so much, so it isn't very tight. So I can just see where I need to go, and that's fine with me. So you'll need a wheel. I like to cut that out of thick cardstock. It gives it a little bit more stability with the, I know what's happening as my camera keeps moving. Hang on here. My pieces are not holding tight. I guess I need to be a little stronger. Okay, let's try this. So here's your piece. I don't know, there you can see a little bit of the indentation that is created when you make it. So I cut this from thick cardstock. So you need brads. We have brads again in both square and circle in black and white. You may have a stash from way back when. Personally, I like something that has a little flatter head to it because you're going to have to figure out how to hide that. So you're going to line up the 2 holes. You're going to open this little flange and not too tight. And then, ta-da, you can spin your wheel. Okay, now you need to take your images. I stamped right through the opening. There's an embossed place right here, and there's one right there. And so I just inked up my images. I'll do that here real quickly. And just stamped it through the opening. This little guy, there's 2 of them. One has his eye open and one has his eye closed. Oops, I was not over him. So there's his shell. There's a little shell die. And then what we did, or what I like to do, is I just took my light Granny Apple blend. It's a little lighter than the ink. And I just colored over that stamped Granny Apple green. I'm not shading. I am truly just coloring. Okay, then you have first image done. Then you run the wheel to the next spot. I'm going to have to get a little closer here. There it is. Okay, I have a little indentation on either side. And you can think about what you're wanting where. There's a cute little saying that says it's time to celebrate. And that works real nice in the window. like that. And then I wanted this to be a birthday card, so I went to the Party Puffins and got the cake from that. And it does work really well in the opening. Now, if you're afraid that you're not going to get it in there, you can take it out, and pardon my head, you can take it out of the brad and still see where you need to go. Not too bad. Okay, that needs to then be colored in. I use the colors from the designer paper, the stripe in the paper, to do that. So here's kind of how the rest of it goes together. So I have a strip of paper. That's also, this pad of paper is really cool in that it has brilliant colors on one side and black and whites on the other. Okay. I've already stamped and punched out my little turtle, and he's got, I stamped his shell in dark, or just whatever the ink is. I'll just really quickly color him in. With light granny apple green, and I just went over the top of the ink. It makes it a little darker. I did the tail in the dark granny apple. I didn't bring it over in his little, I guess you'd call them toenails. Okay? And I'm going to just set him aside for the moment. Now we need to attach this to our card base. And to do this, we need to make sure we have some height to it. So you're going to need a variety of dimensionals. I have the regular Stampin' Dimensionals. I don't think I used the minis, but I grabbed them. The foam adhesive strips are really great for this. And I still had a piece of my foam sheets. So you can do this a couple different ways. I started with the foam sheet and placed it here at the bottom. You want to raise it, but avoid the wheel. And the wheel is going to be in the same place every time. So I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals there. You don't want it to sag, but you don't want it to get in the way of the wheel, the mechanism either. Now, some of the videos I watched, some demonstrators put a double layer. As far as ease in getting to the wheel, that might not be a bad idea. But both for club and for this video, I am not going to bother with that. And then this nice big strip. Or you could put 2 of the foam adhesive strips. Now, this particular die, when you get ready to cut it out, it's narrower than it is tall. So you're going to have more of an edge here and here than you are across the top and bottom. And then you just give it a whirl. And the cake is really pretty when it's done. Oh, looks like I put a little grass under the turtle in that one too. There's the cake. I used the colors that were in the stripe to color the cake. I put the little turtle on with a few dimensionals. I also, and I forgot to grab them, you might have in your stash. I felt like it needed a little something else on the card. And lately when I've needed that little something else, I have grabbed sequins. Okay, so I've got a couple of iridescent sequins from, I don't know if they're even available anymore, but just adds, oh, oh, forgot the one biggie. We don't want to see this bread going, hello, here am I. There is, within the dies, there is also a circle, a scallop circle that goes on top. Here it is. Okay. And so I've cut that out of white. I put one scallop so it covers the bread. If you're real savvy, you could put the mini dimensionals, because this does leave it a little high there, but then it covers the bread. Oh, I almost forgot the important thing. Okay. And of course, my mother helped me with this, and it wouldn't be a Rita card without a little googly eye. This is a 5mm eye. And then you can still have room to put whatever you want. Now, what if you wanted to be sure your recipient knew what direction to make the card go? There is, I don't know if you can see this. Let me see. Not really. There's a little die that has either a single arrow or 2 arrows or a straight arrow that you can then line up in this arch, and it'll put it on the base so your recipient will know what to do. Okay. The other thing that's there is you can cut out the little arrows. There's a die in there, or you can cut it out and have the card show underneath. So those are a couple other pieces. There are clouds and hearts, and there are a lot of dies into this particular die set. So that is Turtle and Friends. I have really only have one other sample to show you, and we did that this week in my class. And this is our little party turtle. Again, I've used paper from the Pattern Party DSP, that's the host. I've stamped the message on him, and I did punch him out, added the little bird and papaya, but I love these little loose flowers. Just, they're kind of an acrylic, they're hard, they come in 2 sizes. He has a little googly eye too, so we did this in class. So, and actually the card that I did, you could just do as a standard card as well. Okay, but I did want to share with you one other sample. I had seen cards done with the Plentiful Plants bundle. My phone is still moving. Okay, with the Plentiful Plants bundle. This paper is on sale right now at 15% off for $9.74. So I have the leafy designer paper. Here's your wheel. We put a pot on it, and I had seen this with the pot, but everybody was stamping in the center like we did for the turtle. See, it's a little hard to grab, so I think, so you can just go through and have a different plant. So what I did, actually at my mother's suggestion, this paper has these individual plants. And so what I did is I took this circle die, and you can maybe see one here. I went around the inside to make sure I didn't cut anyone short, and I cut them into circles. So you have succulents, there's a little brown. So I went ahead, including even this big one. I got a little bit of there it is. Okay. This one cuts out with the dies. This one cuts out with the dies. The rest you have to fussy cut if you, oh, and the aloe vera cuts out with a die. The side of this one has kind of a nice wood grain in cinnamon cider. So what I did is this one has a second layer on it. Okay, so it's our new evening evergreen with a returning in color, Just Jade. This piece looks just like the one I cut for the turtle. I took the brad off. It's in here. I've already got one plant on here. I don't remember why I took it off. So we open it up. To cover this brad, we cut a pot out of the paper. Let's see. I thought I had a piece of that right handy here. She said. See, there's a piece of DSP that's got all kinds of clay pots. And these have to be, well, this one I think, a couple of them do have dies. I think the only one that doesn't is this one with the handles. So you can cut those out with the dies, which is always nice. And so then I took this terracotta pot and put it a little higher than the opening and covered up the brad. And so then I stopped again. Let's see, where's my, there it is. I see my crease. I took a pencil to make sure I had enough room. And forgot to erase the marks. This one, I did want to make sure that my wheel was in. And now I'm going to put adhesive. And we'll put it in the opening. This is probably my favorite plant, and I think there's only 3 on a sheet. Then we wheel it to the next section. Oops, got pencil on this one too. I've enjoyed working with this Plentiful Plants. I'll have to show you the card that inspired me to purchase it. It was on my wish list, which I did not get everything at once. And after I saw this other card, and then I asked my hosts what they would like to do for club, and we decided on this. Okay, so now you have, and you can pick out whichever plants, might be pencil mark still, you want, and it kind of reveals there. No words here. And then what I did is I took the Happy Birthday. This one actually comes from the Turtle and Friends. Turtle and Friends? Oh no, it's Party Puffin'. And I cut it out with one of the dies from the Floral Gallery dies because it just creates kind of an interest. It's another shade of green in this. This is Mint Macaron. Okay. There we go. And you place your, I put it here in the middle. And then I also added, I forgot to bring my ribbon. This is our open weave ribbon in our new in colors in Evening Evergreen. You want a white piece on the inside. I cut out a pot and I cut out some, one of the leaves. I cut out a bunch of them, and so I just kind of played with them as I needed. And you have another Give It a Whirl Whirl. Really easy to do. Here's one that I didn't ever finish, but we decided to try. If you've got the ice cream cones, you can punch out them out of the DSP, which is now retired, but you can also stamp them. And you could put a message, a little happy birthday or whatever in here. I did want to share with you some of my other plant cards. The culprit that I got started with, I don't see here. I thought I grabbed him. Let me see. Well, I just have to see it another time because I don't see it here. But here are some other cards that I have done. Some of it is stamped and cut out with the dies. These are stamped. This is cut out. This is probably one of my favorite. The background is from that party, pattern party paper. And I like it because it's got, and you have to see it, it's got all this bling that I've put on the pot. Just kind of dress it up. And this is the Just Jade. So where you see the Cajun craze and the terracotta colors, it's kind of fun to also use the jade. Here's another one. I think I posted this one today. This uses the macrame background. This one I saw online. I've given credit to the demonstrator on my blog. This is these quote shelves are made with the rectangle dies lined up together, and makes a cool. And I still don't see that other card here. So, for next time. So I hope you gals will give the Give It a Whirl card dies, their die, a try. I'm trying to see if I can find where they are. Of course, I don't have it written on this one. And I don't have it written on this one. Shame on me. So, I hope you have fun. Give it a try. Remember, we still have our Designer Series paper sale going on. So, these papers are definitely, I've ordered some more. So, have a good day. Show me what you do. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye-bye.